Okay, Tom here with part two of creating a new email address and setting it up for access in Gmail. And in the last video I mentioned that I would be using Thunderbird as my email client and show you how to set up Gmail for Thunderbird. In this video I'm actually going to use Outlook. I did some thinking after the first video, and though I use Thunderbird, I prefer Thunderbird. I assume that there are a lot more Outlook users, so I should probably do a version of each. I should show you how to set up Gmail in Outlook and then do a separate video and show you how to set up Gmail in Thunderbird. So this one's going to be about Outlook and Outlook only. So let's get started. So the first step is we want to go into our Gmail account, which I already have open and logged in here. And I want to go to forwarding and pop /IMAP, and I want to enable IMAP and click Save Changes. Okay, that's done. And now we'll go to Outlook and get that started. By the way, since the last video, I set up another email address in here, so I actually have 4 email accounts tied to this one Gmail account now, and I'll be able to check them all in Outlook. So here's my Outlook, and as I said, I don't use it. I use Thunderbird, so it's pretty barren here. That's okay. So first step is we need to go to Tools and click on Account Settings. Over here we have a button that says New for under the Email tab. And I need to put my name in. And this is for people that receive my email, depending on their email they're using, email client. This is what they'll see, Tom Litchfield, instead of techydiy@gmail.com. Okay, get my password in here. And I want to click manually config server settings so that we can do this properly. Otherwise, I think what Outlook does is it just pings the mail service and gets the information that way. I'm not sure that'll work. We're doing IMAP. As you saw when I was in Gmail, we configured my Gmail account for IMAP access. And I didn't mention this in the first video, but I guess I should briefly explain that IMAP is a two-way street compared to POP or POP3 that you might see often. That's kind of a one-way street where you're just downloading the messages from Gmail or your own email server if you have one. And it's not a two-way street. You're just downloading the messages, and when you log into your email server, you might see messages that you've already read marked as unread. That's using POP. And in IMAP, when you're using Outlook or if you're reading messages on Gmail, when you're reading things and you mark them as read, everything is in sync. So you can think of IMAP as keeping everything in sync, so that's why it might be more desirable. The only bad thing is if you're on a slow connection, if you're offline, you might have to do some extra configuration settings to make sure you can read mail when you're offline. That's the only thing to worry about. The bad thing that I was about to mention is that if you're on a slow connection, it might take time to get your email, and when you click on things, it takes a second to refresh. So that might be a reason for you to go with POP. So this video isn't about IMAP or POP or explaining it, but I just wanted to tell you about it as a courtesy. So let's move on. Okay, so we need to change this to IMAP. And the server for Gmail is imap.gmail.com, and the outgoing is smtp.gmail.com. My username is techydiy. Whoops. @gmail.com, and my password I already copied. So let's click on More Settings, and let me configure the outgoing server here. Okay, use same setting as my incoming mail server. Okay. Whoops. And I need to go to Advanced. And let me check what the ports are. I have a tutorial here, or instructions from Google on how to set this up. So we need to do 993 and 587 SSL TLS. So let's copy those. 3, and this is SSL. And this one was, what was that again? 587. And that was TLS. Okay. Now let's run this test, see what happens. Okay, looks good. Close that. Next, finish, close. So let's go over to Gmail here. Alright. Now to make this a real test, I should probably use some other email to send a message and reply back. So I'm going to log out of this account and I'm going to log into a completely different Gmail account, and we'll run a test from there. So we'll use, let's try this one, compose, and we're going to send this to techieDIY@gmail.com. Test. This is a test. Okay, let's go over to Outlook here. That was fast. Okay, so let's once again make this a, let's do a reply back and make this a full circle test. Send that off. Okay, choose folder. This is for organizational purposes, that's why I'm doing this. You probably want to keep your sent items on the folder of your account if you're using multiple accounts in your Outlook. So this is the main account. Sent mail. Okay, here we go. So I haven't used Outlook in a very long time, so I forgot my way around it. Let's see my sent mail. Okay. So did you see what I did just there? I guess I'll talk about it for a second. It was asking me when I send emails out, what folder do I want the sent mail to go to? And to keep things organized, if I send a mail from ask@techieDIY.com, then I want the sent mails to go in the sent folder of that one to keep everything organized. And so since I sent a message from techieDIY@gmail.com, I want the sent emails to go into that email account's sent mail folder, if that makes sense. Okay, back to our test. Let's go over to Gmail here, and looks like, thanks for the test. Alright, we're in business. So if you get stuck, I did have some instructions I found from Google on the settings, and you can read a little bit more about the options and things like that, but basically you can see it can be done in about 5 minutes. So I hope this was helpful, and if you want to know how to configure Thunderbird, that's going to be in a separate video. Thanks, and stay tuned for more videos.